Wassail. So, it's a bit weird, the lighting in here. I've come into a different room because there was a terrible echo in the other room. Actually, I'm going to shut the door because I think that might be better. I think you'll be able to hear me nice and cleanly. I'll put all the lights on. So, what's our Hayley Lucy Paul? I've put in 2 links to calculators for asteroids. It's also in the description box. What's up, Patrick? What's up, Laura? What's up, Karen? Can I begin by saying thanks to everyone that's been sending me tips. It's been very helpful. And to people who've been emailing me, I need a bit more time to catch up on the emails. So, what's up, Katie? Caught you between the store and homework. Homework's calling. You can just watch 5 minutes, Patrick, and then clear off. So I'm excited because, as you may have seen from the thumbnail, we have a new deck. Well, and the title, we have a new deck. Yeah, it's just an index card at the moment, but it really is the very first scratchings of the deck. And although it's 78 cards, because I like multiples of 13, and that's 6 13s, I think I'm going to add one more so that there's 91 in total. I feel like the very end card needs to be Mary the Jewess, since it's a deck about alchemy and astrology. So, Wassail Ambra Sif, Wassail Skyward Trees, Wassail Maria, Wassail Eve. So, we will get going in a minute. I'm just a bit overexcited. The deck, last night I spent all night trying to draw out a prototype for it in a document and finding the right words. And at the moment, I haven't concentrated too much on the words because they will change. But it's an exciting deck. It's mixing the planets with the star signs, with asteroids, with aspects, with modalities, with alchemical language. There's a whole series of symbols. And I think I've worked out who's going to draw it for me. I think I'm going to get the fabulous Debbie Angel, because part of the need for this deck is I want the back of the cards to each one to have what would look like the handwritten notes on a busy desk of the alchemist as he or she practices their art and makes notes and creates formulas. So I'm just giving them a little bit of a gentle shuffle. I have done a couple of readings. The first reading is the image that I put up. It was just because the concept behind the deck is quite clear in how it ought to be, but the problem with it is how do you read it? And I don't know enough about alchemy yet. I'm learning so much stuff. Like, I have yet to tie in all the animals. There's lots of dragons and lions and griffins that link into the deck, and I haven't dug into all of that yet. There's a couple of animals. There's swans and there's a wolf, because they were already there. So, Wassail, Anthony. You were first to say hello the other day. Wassail, Sacred Seer. Wassail, Sigdom Levent. Wassail, Evita. Wassail, Amanita. Aminata. Wassail Bridge. Oh my God, it must be so early in the morning where you are, Bridge. Why are you not asleep? Actually, that's not true. I forget. I'm no longer on GMT. Could be any time in the world in Australia right now. Got no idea. I know you're almost a day ahead now. Yeah, I am matching the wall paint. It was completely accidental, but it's nice to match. So this deck, I'm just going to do, it's 8:20 on Sunday. You see, it's 10 to 4 on Saturday. I love that. Well, I hope you're in bed enjoying yourself, Bridget. Hooray, how's the new job? Yep, there's dragonesses to come in this deck, but they're not there yet. Oh, I just saw a flash of Cancer. So, I'm assuming you can all hear me. Look, I'm going to just, I've got this way of putting in the asteroids, but rather stupidly, it's linked them together. And so I have to keep removing one. So this is one site that you can go to get 12 of the asteroids that are included in this deck calculated on your birth chart. And then this is the site for the missing one, because I haven't used Sedna. But all the others are on that first website. You just go on, type your birthday in, and give you a list of where all the asteroids are. Yeah. Who's bed bridge? 2 cards fell out then. So I feel like this is for bridge. She's in bed and she's in sublimation. She's moving. She's moving from a solid state straight to a gaseous state. And it's coming out with the alchemical symbol of Earth as an element, the energy of Earth, and it's about physical truths, it's just a really simple message for you, which is, do you know what? Bed's beautiful. Right now, bed is the physical truth that brings you to a sublimation. It's just a very simple, you got the first message, bridge. I'm a bit worried about it getting a bit dark in here. I've got a little lamp there, but oh, fabulous. You learned these symbols. What? We're going to learn loads of symbols. Get pen and paper, Anthony. There's loads more symbols on the way. Yeah, it's really exciting because as with the raw runes, I'll have an artist who will draw them. And as I was saying earlier, I really want these to look like a notebook of an alchemist. I want them to have little bits of sort of powdered stains and things all over them, as if they're busy alchemizing and taking notes in a feathered quill. So let's just Bridge is going to marry her bed. That's Cupcake Mum Tarot, for those that wonder. So I'm going to drop the deck. So let's bring you down to the table. Now you can see the lovely blue cushions. This is the spare room. This is not the room I sleep in. I don't know why I've never been in here. So let's just lay out some cards. We're opening with Gemini. Now, the line at the bottom is at the moment is the alchemical pattern, but on the back of the card is going to be all the different traits that's to do with having your sun in Gemini. It might have other things. I'm not sure how it works yet. Then the next card we have, look, conjunction. So Gemini, not a planet, but the actual constellation is in conjunction, which means a union. I can't read that backwards. To merge and to have focus on something. So Gemini, the mutable air energy, is fixating on Neptune. Now that's interesting. Neptune is ancestral healing. It's also, ancestral blood echoes. It's the livers, kidneys, and spleen, and it's also the sound healing of D sharp, E flat. And I feel like it's these cards, they're so chatty. They're telling me I didn't ring the bells, and I brought the bells in. Neptune's bells. Gemini is fixated on me merging on the energy, the talkative, the communication of the bells. So let's have the bells. I'm going to bring the images back up. Don't worry. The message was ring the bells. Now we're going to do the cards. Don't worry. So this is a very simple card at the moment. It hasn't got too much information. But as we know, Gemini is about opening the boundaries. And Mary the Jewess, I have to get my book now. Mary the Jewess, who was the first alchemist. I've got so many notes as I'm making this deck. It's about the unity of opposites. And it's interesting that the card is about fixing an energy, taking a mutable energy and fixing it in. And then it's coming along as a conjunction. Now, a conjunction in astrology is when a planet moves in front of another planet. So an eclipse is a conjunction, a solar eclipse. And this is about when you just find the quote from her. Join the male and the female and you will find what is sought. But what's being discussed here by the cards is the notion that we open our polarity and we pass that open space right in front of Neptune. Because we're going into a conjunction with Neptune to look at some kind of blood echo healing that will take place in the coming weeks. And for me, that would be telling us about the Eclipse Tunnel. So on the 19th of November, there's a lunar eclipse in Taurus. And then 2 weeks later, there's a solar eclipse in Sagittarius with the new moon. And on the 1st of December, Neptune, the cleansing energy of the livers, the kidneys, the spleen, the toxic things that we've consumed that need to be removed, will turn stationary prograde. And so right in the middle, well, not quite in the middle, but at the very beginning, really, towards the very end of the eclipse tunnel, 4 days before the solar eclipse, Neptune will turn and it will be able to help us push some old frequency back out. So that's the message of that. There is an ancestral clearance that needs to take place, a blood echo that's part of your frequency during the conjunction. So from the 1st to the 4th, you'll begin to understand it as we move into the eclipse tunnel, the open, because an eclipse tunnel is usually called an Janus Geminis, because in ancient Rome, they had a space called the Janus Geminis. And this was an open 12-columned space where they would go in. So when there was a discourse or war or problems, discord, sorry, they would open the doors and open the back doors to let the air through, to let the energies through. And then they would cast fortune-telling methods in the middle, underneath the statue of Saturn for a long time. Before that, it was Janus. And then that would help them understand the outcome of the trouble. And once the war or the discord was over, they would close the doors. In Rome, they never closed the doors because there was always trouble. But so the Janus Geminis, we're calling for this eclipse tunnel the Janus Neptunus. So in this Janus Neptunus, between the 1st and the 4th, you will be cleansing, merging, focusing on an ancient bloodline story that needs to be removed. So let's see what else it has to say on that subject. Oh, interesting. I'm just going to put them all down. It's a lot of cards. It's a lot of cards. It's a lot of cards. So it begins with, this feels like the rest of the story. So we have Scorpio. Didn't have a black felt tip for that one. I had to use brown. So Scorpio is separation. So separate, bring yourself apart in your polarity. But what you actually have to do in this, because it's being followed by Mars. Mars is the root chakra. It's all of our molecules. So it's talking about blood, all of the things that make the vessel that your consciousness is in needs to be kind of separated. You need to be aware of feelings within inside the body. And this is the note C. And when you listen or sing a note C, it vibrates all of your body frequencies. So you're trying to separate. It's interesting. They're saying you're trying to separate what is the echo of raw anger and then divine sacred rage, which is a different frequency entirely and is represented by the asteroid Aries, who is Mars's sister. And then we have opposition. So during Scorpio season, there will be the opposition moon. So the sun will be in Scorpio and the moon will be not quite opposite. It's in Taurus, but it should really be in Gemini. But in theory, because of the way the thing was, it is in opposition because of Scorpio and Taurus being the places that the nodes will move to on the 19th of January next year. So next year, all of the eclipses will take place in Taurus and Scorpio. So we've got that 180-degree frequency right halfway all the way around on the opposite side. And this is what Mary the Jewess, Maria Prophetissima, talks about. You separate everything out. You feel the frequency of the discord, the tension, and you see the potential and you seek solution. And what did she say? She said that it's the union of opposites. So you join the opposites and you will find what is sought. So what you're seeking is hidden inside opposition. Yeah, it's time to get rid of the old debris. Now, the next three cards that you have, Mercury. So this is G sharp and A flat. It's the same note. I'm just writing it in two different ways. This is the throat and it's Quicksilver. Now, what's interesting about Quicksilver is it's a morphing metal. It's got fluidity. And this is one of the most important energies. They used to gather mercury from cinnabar rocks. And so this is a very key energy. And in fact, this symbol is used to show the symbol of the mutable signs, the mutable houses. And it's interesting that we've also got with Mercury the moon in Scorpio. Now, this is just talking about a moon, but it is a lunar eclipse moon. And it's, although it's in Taurus as such, the moon, it's talking about the phase taking place within a Scorpio season. So it's drawing that energy that we had at the very beginning. Separation, the separation between the space, rooting our life force in Scorpio so that we can create a separation as we allow the energies of our emotions. And it feels as though, because down here on this card, this is emotional exchanges. And that's what usually happens when the moon enters Scorpio. But it's echoing that sentiment. And usually genitals, pubic bone, and the genes that we have are affected by the moon as it passes through Scorpio. Somehow you've got to anchor that sensitivity in and seek something that's on the other side of the horoscope in Taurus. And actually, in that first reading I did, it was talking about how Taurus, although a fixed sign, is used to manifest. Taurus are really great manifestors. So it ends with 68, air, the element of air. So this is Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, and it's about fault editing. And that's the purpose. You're editing an aspect, and it will possibly be just one aspect that you're looking at to change during this time, that's an echo that's affecting your ego in the now. Yeah, Melissa, if you go onto my website, if you pull down the description box, there's a link to New Runes for Old or something. If you go on there, you can download a PDF and you can print the rune deck that I've been making with Cindy, Rob, and Reem. And at some point, this deck will be there, but I just need a little bit more time of playing with it and getting some more words on this deck before I download it for now. But it's about us all playing with them. It's about us, because I don't know yet how this deck works. Spirit just keeps telling me the things I had to do. Like yesterday, it was like you have to add moon in signs, and I was like, but then that's no longer a single alchemical symbol. And they're like, what do you think alchemy was about? It was about putting symbols together. It's a bit like bind runes. So yes, you have to adapt some aspect of your ego that feels like it's part of your story, but it's actually a bloodline echo, and you need to edit that and see yourself differently. But thanks for liking the cards. I'm so excited by these cards, because I at the moment, I don't know what stories they might have in them. I have to say, there's a lot of eroticism in these cards that I wasn't expecting. that's bringing about sexuality, sensuality. So that's very interesting. There are a whole series of alchemical words that are on the card. So Aries is to do with calcination, and that's about applying fire to solids to purify them, or sometimes they use corrosive liquids. Taurus is to do with congelation, to thicken something, to bring something into being, and to congeal, to increase the viscosity or to crystallize something. Gemini is fixation, which is transforming a volatile substance into something that can't be affected by fire. Cancer is solution, dissolving homogeneous mixture, that you dissolve one thing into another. What's happening, Eve? Am I missing something? Okay, I won't worry. You'll let me know. Leo is digestion. So when gentle heat is applied for several weeks, sunlight or even dung was used to change the process, but in a very way. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. I was like, Virgo's going to love this one. So Libra is sublimation, which is solid to gases, no emotional, no liquid state, jumping from one to the other. Scorpio is separation, to create solids from a solution. Sagittarius is serration, which is to... Oh, no, hang on, I read that wrong. I've missed serration out. I knew there was one I'd missed out. Someone needs to look up serration, because I've forgotten what it means. It's C-E-R-A-T-I-O-N. Then we have Capricorn, fermentation, putrefaction, to break down, to create something new. And then Aquarius is multiplication, to increase the power of the Philosopher's Stone. And Pisces is projection, to apply the knowledge that you've learned. But it's so much more complicated than that. I'm so annoyed about serration. I kept thinking all day, I don't know serration. I looked and I was like, oh no, I have done all the notes on them. And as I'm reading them out, Wassail Reem, got a new deck. I have sent it to you to have a little look at. It's just another little project that we can all do together. So let's do another read with these cards. Sun's coming back out again now. That's good. So here we have the cards. Again, random read. I don't know what... Oh, I don't know. Yeah, Virgo needs to simmer down. Right, I've got 2 caught in my hand, or 3 maybe. Oh, 3. Oh, look, I'm telling you, we're on eclipse frequency. So we've even got, as the 3rd card, the card of the solar eclipse. So it would seem that the lunar eclipse is merely a setup energy of the darkness, because a lunar eclipse is when the umbra of the earth, the shadow, that's where you get umbrella from, because it's to shade you from the sun. It's the same with a parasol being without the sun. In English, we don't have a word like parapluie to keep the rain off. Both of our words are to keep the sun off, and yet we use umbrellas for rain. So it's going from the darkness to the light, because eclipse tunnels change. Next year, the eclipses that take place next year are from solar eclipses to lunar eclipses. So they're like entering a tunnel and trying to find your way out of the darkness. Burping a bit there, excuse me, people. Serration is a chemical process, a common practice in alchemy. It is performed by continuously adding a liquid. Oh, that's right. By imbibition to a hard, dry substance while it is heated, and it breaks it down. It turns it into a kind of wax. That's what it was. It turns it all kind of soft and pliable like a wax. Thank you. Thank you, Deirdre, and thank you, Chorister. Yeah, incineration, for example. It's I love it. Anyway, let's go to this. Let's go to these three cards. What do we have as the three cards? We have Ceres. So if you want to know where Ceres is in your charts, you can look them up. I've put a link further back for all the asteroids. This is actually a very large asteroid that's considered a dwarf planet like Pluto. They get into a lot of arguments, astrologers and astronomers, over to what's what. But the reason for me, Ceres has always been connected to sound healing of the sacral. And until Spirit tells me to change that, I'm just leaving it exactly where it is. So we're looking at the seat of the soul. So there's something on the seat of the soul that's backbreaking, because we have Pluto. We're in Scorpio season, and Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. Now, what I've done with these cards, I've colored the rulers of each sign the same color so that you help to get a link. Because the idea behind these cards is, as I fill them out with more words and we put all the characteristics and things on the back in the kind of alchemist notes, there'll be a resource to help you learn astrology, alchemy, connections between things. I really want it to be a working deck, so you can hold it up while reading a load of secret information on the back that no one could see otherwise. So we're looking, I think, at, it's a word I don't like to use, but it is to do that. It's like an ego death, but it isn't an ego death. What it is an ego integration, but it's a separation. Who was the separation? Scorpio, weren't they? Scorpio, we're in the season of separation, but we're trying to separate something from the seat of our soul, something that's an ego-related blockage. Oh, and look, D and C sharp. D and C sharp are semitone apart. This is like something that's kind of like a mollusk or something under the water that's stuck so hard you can't even get a knife under it to pick it up. You can't get purchase on this thing. But the solar eclipse is going to provide you with a galactic opportunity. Okay, so the solar eclipse takes place on the 4th. The 4th of December in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is Ceration, which is to apply emotions until that hard thing that's stuck to the seat of your soul. It could be like a limpet on your spine, but very low down. It needs, oh, look, you've just written limpet. Well done, Parry. It's like a limpet, and it needs to be serrated. You need to keep applying emotions until it softens like wax and you can push it off. And that's this opportunity to release some blockage on the seat of the soul. So we're going to ask the cards, what might that be? I don't even know if the cards can answer that, because this really is the first go at playing with them. So I don't yet know what they're capable of. It's interesting that they're so split the deck is Sagittarius with serration, and the fixation, the thing that's fixed, needs to be serrated. So I've got another 13 cards to add to this deck, so that it's 91, because I need it to be a 9 and a 1 so that we reach completion and a new beginning, because that's the whole point of alchemy, is to complete something so that it can become something new. So let's just oh, you see these cards, they don't shuffle well, but we have some cards that we can read. Let me open them out and see what we've got. Ooh, ooh, ooh. What are these two then? I've got 6. Right, I feel like they're the important part to start with, because we're talking about the opening energy is the gambit of the moon, and here we have our first 2 asteroids. So can you see these? So let me just quickly, I'm just going to give you, that's where you can go on AstroSeek, type in your date of birth. You don't need the time, you don't need the place, you just need your date of birth, and it will give you 12 of the 13. It won't give you Quar, but it will give you Psyche, it will give you the moon, will give you the other asteroids that we're using here. So the moon is not an asteroid as such. The moon is our A healing. This is the third eye, and this is intuition and the veil. So during the lunar eclipse, as the shadow forms, you're looking to identify what it is that's limpet-like on the seat of your soul. And Psyche, where Psyche is where your soul most feels at home. So let me just get my notes and see if there's anything else I can give you at the moment, because I haven't written all over the cards yet. Yeah, there's something about the energy. There's another symbol that's a bit like Neptune's trident, but sideways on, that's sometimes Psyche. And there's something about that that's about prodding, poking, raking over the coals of something old. Oh, there's a alchemical symbol that way on that is the embers. There's something just, it's like a fire that hasn't gone out, and in the seat of your soul, that's an ancestral echo. And you need to know, really, you need to look up Psyche so that you can determine where your soul is most at home, and then read that energy, and it will help you to understand this frequency that's disturbing you. Something, it might be that it's the complete opposite. So you might need to look up where your soul, your psyche is most at home, and then you might need to look at the opposite house and discover what that energy is about, to discover what the ember is, what this cinder is that's attached somehow to the seat of your soul, low down in your spine, not quite coccyx, just above there, but it's something that's bothersome and it needs removing. So the 4 cards that we've got as the journey in the Janus Neptunus, after the lunar eclipse, we begin with distillation. So I'll go back to my book with all my notes, because I still haven't managed to distill the information into my head. But this is, the actual terms for it is separating the component parts of a liquid by heat and cooking. That's interesting. So before we were applying liquid emotions so that the limpet becomes soft like wax. And now we apply heat to distill so that we can separate what belongs to the ancestor and what belongs to you. This is mutable earth energy. It feels like it's a very old earthline story. Oh, my microphone's falling over because I put it on the gap between two tables. Okay, Sigdom. Have a nice sleep. It's a pleasure. So, yeah, you're looking for a very old story. Now, you've next got, and I love this card. This is Antimony. And antimony is very much like the symbol of Venus, but it's actually an orb with a cross on the top. It's very much a symbol associated with British monarchy because the Queen carries an orb at the point of her coronation. And this is wolf protection, but it's also the wild, instinctual human nature. I feel like this story that you're going to is quite an old, almost, I don't want to say it's some kind of story from like 200 years ago or your great grandfather. This feels like this energy that's just niggling away at you at the back feels almost Neolithic. It's ancient. It's an energy of a kind of primal scream that is within us. This antimony, like the howling, and it's a connection to it's something lustful. It's very ancient energies because it's coming in. I have to show you the next two cards so that you can understand the connection. It's coming in with a sextile, and a sextile is 60 degrees, an aspect of 60 degrees. So like the 6 degrees of separation, it's still within your energy field, this energy. But it's flirty, friendly, and it's the energy of asking. Like, when you've got those moments and you kind of think to yourself, I quite like that person. This card is saying go and ask. I feel like the blockage, this is interesting. So the energy I'm getting is the frequency of the lust, the instinctualness is Neolithic, it's primal, it's ancient. The energy of the limpet that's stuck is more recent. That's more modern dogma telling you that you can't be this wolf energy. You need to refine these energies, but there's a sense of embarrassment about refinding the frequency of the wolf, the primal energies, very, very deep, passionate energies, like the energy of fire that's been suppressed. Look, the psyche is at home in Scorpio frequency. I'm not saying yours has to be, but the cards are bringing out that notion that behind the veil is primal wolf frequency. This need to kind of be a predator almost, to go out, to feel the dark, to feel nature. The reason I say it's to do with nature is because you've got to distill the separation between the Neolithic primal urge to be a wolf, to howl, to be sexual and sensual, and society's desire to tell us that sexuality is something we should try and suppress. And it's been very suppressed recently, with the pandemic. No one wants to really go out and start dating someone because they fear. So we've got Makemake. And Makemake represents environmental wisdom. So there's something about the call of nature, the call of the wild, the call of the wolf that will be part of this removal of the limpet. There's something like the limpet's a kind of dogmatic shame attached to things. Okay, so that's that one. I'll just show you Makemake again. I believe Makemake is still in Libra, but I haven't checked that this morning. It's been in Libra quite a while. So, Wassail Sinead, Wassail the Upper Room, Wassail a Spiritual Girl. So, that's another little reading with the new deck. We're going to do another one just to see. I mean, at the moment, they've been linked. They've been about the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. Hungry like the wolf. Lost and found, and rather than sound, I'm hungry like the wolf. Yeah, I mean, it could be for some Catholic shame, because, you know, it's been a very powerful defining information setter for a lot of our history. Wassail Penelope. A Capricorn moon with Leo North Node, and you're trying to tune in. Yeah, Leo's having a lot of trouble at the moment. I feel like Leo's been energetically suppressed for too long, and it's driving Leo's a bit wild and mad. But it'll change, it'll change. You're in Baltimore. What's that song from Hairspray about Baltimore? Good morning, Baltimore, or something. Yeah, we got a new deck, Penelope. Hey, oh, do you know what? There's something about this Bridget's Sublime Energy in bed. That card keeps coming up. Yeah, I'll be honest. When I did my asteroids, because I couldn't remember where they all were, I forgot that nearly all my asteroids are all in Libra and Scorpio and Virgo, just like everything else is. I was like, oh, can you not just give me some more star signs? So I'm just going to pop these all back, because if I'm not reading 12, there's no sense to that story. Right, so let's get a little shuffle and see what we get. I'm going to rifle them. Oh, there's a nice one. Sulfur. Cardinal modalities. Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. Sulfur is brimstone as well. And it's essential in alchemy to transmute things, to change. Right, here we go. I'm going to do a Cindy drop for this. They dropped a bit funny as well. So let's, I should have brought the camera down for that so you can see. Let's see what we've got. Oh, look, we're back with Gemini again. Polarities. Going to give you the quote again from Mary the Jewess. He says, looking through the many pages of notes. So, join the male and the female and you will find what is sought. It's the union of opposites. And Gemini are good at dealing with opposites because there's always two of them. Twins. So, what's this energy now? Opposition. So, before they had conjunction and they were looking at Neptune. Now we're looking at the opposition. So, we're talking about opening an opposition to seek the potential within the opposition. It's so funny. There's 78 cards, but we're getting repeats. We really are getting separation. You have to separate things. We have to separate things right now. You separate what's opposite each other. And then we have, ooh, here's a new one. Moon in Pisces. So Pisces is passive sensitivity. And then it's feet, toes, pineal gland. This is something to do with something very spiritual taking place. So the moon's in Pisces about 6 days. Oh, probably now, actually. Let me just check. This is the trouble with astrology. You need all the information as to where everything is right now. So let's just open. Where's my page in AstroSeek? AstroSeek's quite an interesting website. It's got lots and lots of great stuff on it, but it's about meeting people born on the same day as you. And I think originally it must have been a bit of a dating site or something. So let's get to November. Actually, I don't know why I'm looking on that. I've got it in this book. Because I write everything down. It's just finding it all again. It's from that. So, I don't even know what today's day is. Is it the 13th or the 14th? The 13th. So, it's, yeah, we're in moon, we're right there now. This is currently where the moon is. In Pisces. Sun in Scorpio. We're trying already to begin the preparation to separate the energies. So we're looking at a passive sensitivity that's hidden within this separation of opposites. So I need to know what the opposites are, because it's not Gemini and Scorpio. They're not opposite. The opposition between what is fixed and what you can separate is what you're looking at. What is fixed in your ego that could do with being separated to reveal a more passive sensitivity? The feet, toes, pineal gland, and melatonin, sleepiness. Okay, let's put some more cards and see if we get some more of this story. You can find your toes, Sheila. I'm sure you know how to find yours, having danced. Oh, cool. You've been doing alchemy. I'm loving the alchemy. I'm going to be adding a card, Penelope, that's Mary the Jewess. I've got to create an alchemical symbol for her. I think I'm going to make it from a crucible, like she is the crucible where it begins. So let's flick down and let's see. We want to know what's the separation and what's the passive sensitivity. Can't even slide them along like that, though. So what do we begin with? Cancer, solution. So we've got to dissolve something. We've got to dissolve something. I'm just trying to think of the phases. The Cancer, I am going to have to bring this up. So, right. So, yes, this is just after The moon in Cancer is 3 days, 4 days after, 4 days after the lunar eclipse. And that's when you have to allow a dissolution of frequencies. So I'll bring these across so that you don't think I'm cheating. Oh, sublimation. Libra. There's a balance within the opposition. And this is, it's a bit difficult to show them. The sublimation is when you take a solid and you move it to gas. So this is almost like the ego earthbound energy and then the spiritual energy of your consciousness, yourself, making some kind of huge leap, making some leap towards balance as this sort of solution takes place. When's Libra moon? So the Libra moon's on the 29th and the 30th. The balance comes. Hello, people. The balance comes the day before the Neptune turns retrograde, turns stationary prograde. Sorry. So let's just finish these the two other cards. Psyche again. The soul's home. And we have Aries. Calcination, burning off the ego. So it's interesting that it's to do with the psyche. Again, Tanya, look, yeah, they will be sold. At the moment, the rune deck, Tanya, is available. If you pull down the description box, you can download it for free. And you can either download it with the runes drawn on it, or you can download it with the words alone, and then you draw the rune yourself. And that's just free at the moment. And if you want to give a donation towards the artwork that's being made for the deck to be sold properly, that will come later. This is a brand new deck that I've only just drawn today and last night, finished gathering all the information to make the cards. This one will be going to an artist soon, and then that one will also be for sale. But at some point, once I've got a few more words, because it's no good just having, I'm reading them because I've been researching them, but I haven't worked out how to filter down the words at the moment. But both decks will be available. And then there's a couple of other decks that are also in the pipeline, people. One that's all about nutrition, and another one that's going to be a tarot deck that's all about personal Yggdrasil trees. It will be a tree for each card. Anyway, but for the moment, you go on the website, on my website, that's in the link in the description box, and you can download the rune deck absolutely free. And if you can't afford to send a donation, please do not worry about it. It's all about the cards being out there for the moment for us to share and enjoy. The only thing you don't get yet is the full description of what each of the runes mean, but they have information, the Anglo-Saxon, the English, and then an energy. And the book is being written at the moment while the artwork's being done. But it takes months. I have to write a poem for each rune, and there's 78 of them. So, yes, there are dragons, Penelope, in certain substances that are used in the primer materia, but we haven't got to them yet. Cards are just new. So we're looking at the moon on the 30th, reaching a balance point for you. Like there's some kind of leap of energy that's a gift from Neptune somehow, a sublimation of your opposition, to almost take your solid ego and let some part of it ping so highly. And then I feel like they're saying to me that this separation will feel like a death of your psyche. Again, there's that energy of the psyche. You need to know where your psyche is at home, and you need to look to the opposite to find this story. It's repeating this story. I want another tale, please, now. And then once you've worked out this frequency, you need to burn off the earthbound choking part of the ego. You need to apply Aryan fires to it to pull it down. That's nice, and that's a 411. And then it's almost like it will, because it's been burnt off, it will almost, there's a sense alchemically that the soot will be lighter than the consciousness that's left behind. So there'll be a complete turnaround of your energy. So that was fun. So I'll put them back, and then maybe if anyone has a question we might like to ask the Alchemy of Astrology. Let's see, because I don't know if you ask a specific question whether this deck's capable of even answering it. A psychic death, a death of the psyche can be okay. You can find yourself in a world around, may have been inhabiting it without paying rent. Yeah, there's something, when I was doing work today, I was gathering information that's to do with the Negredo phase, which is about those kind of very heavy chaotic energies that are in our birth charts that we need to alchemically change, and how we need to find the self. And a lot of websites, when you check information, they always talk about things in terms of celebrities so that you'll have an understanding of who they are. And as I was looking at these pictures, I kept thinking, I don't know who any of these celebrities are. And I did, but for some reason, they were looking really wrong. They all looked really vulnerable, and they all looked like they were kind of keying into something really overtly uncomfortably sexual that they weren't happy with. What if the waters are polluted? Which waters? Well, look, the waters are always polluted, but it's down to you to go down there and feel that the whole point of a tree is a tree can filter things out and provide pure water. So don't be frightened by any of it, Deirdre. Anything, even old stories, ancestral echoes, if they're polluted, the Yggdrasil tree will cleanse. That's the whole point. Spirit can cleanse if you're willing to work with things. No, I'm not. The only reason I'm not going to answer that one, Penelope, is it's all it's asked about, or told us about at the moment, is the Eclipse Tunnel. I'd quite like to see if it can talk about something else, not to be awkward, but it did the eclipse in such a magical way. So as something, I mean, I can ask about next year, but that's a pleasure, Deirdre. I mean, just go with, that's the whole thing of a tree. A tree will take out toxins. Oh, Wassail Cosmic Womb Collective. We got a new deck we're working with. Oh, look, quincunx. Always sounds so rude. And maybe for a moment, maybe I'll just show you some of the other cards. So, like for instance, quincunx. So this is to be at odds, not speaking to another, or one another, and just existing in the same space, but having no connections. Yeah, I will. I'll ask about the Venus retrograde in a minute. Put up the dates for me to save me looking it up, because I haven't got them on the top of my head. So what's another one that we have? Let me just flick through and we'll look for some that are interesting. This is a beautiful one. Magnet. So this is universal soul, and it's attraction and erotic entanglements. So I haven't just made this up. Alchemically, magnets were seen as something that attracted. And people would say, you know, we would always say, what attracts you to so-and-so? Why are you attracted to that person? And we don't do that so much anymore. There's no sense of, magnets have almost just become, you know, some iron filings under a bit of cardboard, and you move the magnet around and go, oh, look. And it's part of our universal soul that we have chemical attractions to people. Yeah. That symbol does look like a right quincunx. A quincunx. So there's erotic entanglements. What else do we have? We've seen antimony. I'm just pulling a few out just to give you an idea. Oh, this one's gorgeous. I love this one. This is Quaor. Quaor is the Cosmic Shaman. It's the true mystical experience. This is something that pushes you to a really magical moment. I know, it's because I've put the lights on overhead. I mean, and they've got no shades on them. I've never been in this room before. It took me half an hour to find where the light switch was for them, because it's behind the bed heads, and you have to pull the bed heads out and lean right down to try and turn the lights on. So let's just go through a few more cards and see what might interest you. We've got the North and South nodes. Here's a nice one. Sappho. Now, interestingly, Sappho is one of the only real people that an asteroid's been named after. And Sappho is to do with wordsmithery and sensual expression. So it's about wooing people. It's about moving in with poetry and love. We have the Philosopher's Stone, which is the prima materia, all elements that should be alchemized. And that includes elements, energies of our ego. Oh, this one, I love this one, Chariklo. Chariklo is the wife, the female centaur that's married to Chiron, and she is the graceful enforcer of boundaries. Such a lovely energy. So yeah, Sappho, amazing energy. We also have this fabulous energy. I don't know if we have this, the Monas Hieroglyphica. And this was invented by John Dee, who was the wizard to Queen Elizabeth I in her court, the astrologer and magician. And this is the energy, great sage, equal of heaven. But there's something about the energy of this card that's very much an arcana energy. So it's a secret. So often this will come up as an energy to tell you that we need to stop prodding, or it can be an energy of saying your wisdom comes after A, B, C plus D, and whichever alchemical symbols there are. So what else do we have? What was that one there that just slipped by? Oh, this one's interesting. This is Aquarius, the water of royalty. And this is, yeah, it's lovely, the story of Chariclo. This is an energy, an acid that dissolves gold. And so it's an energy of dissolving something that's a symbol of authority. So it's corrosive, acidic, and destructive, and yet so very beautiful. We have Darkmoon Lilith, who at the moment I haven't found words for, other than I'd like her to have the word black sheep, which is why I've called her Darkmoon Lilith there, so that she can be the black sheep. Because it's very odd, because for a long while we were told that you shouldn't use that term, but here in Mexico most of the sheep are black. So if you saw the white sheep of the family here, that would look more weird. In Britain, most sheep are white. So when a black sheep comes out, it's the odd one out. And that's really what this energy is. It's about being ostracized. But there's something more to it, because there's something very special and unique about being the outsider in amongst a clan of other things. So we have Darkmoon Lilith. I didn't have a black pen, so I just drew around the edge on that one. We have South Node. We have this lovely symbol for the lunar eclipse, as the symbol of the Earth is intercepted, or the Earth's shadow intercepts the moon, but they're coming together. And this is an esoteric shadow gift that will have more explanation. Yeah, it does make you a trailblazer because you're not following the rules. What other ones do we have? Oh, Phallus. I love this one as well. This is another of the centaurs in the Kuiper Belt. This is the law of unintended consequences. So you do something and then shit happens because of Phallus. Well, not he's not to blame. It's the energy of the law of unintended consequences. Just some things have to pass about. And so again, we're beginning to bring in energies from the asteroids that begin to explain our lives a little bit better. Square as an aspect, 90 degrees. These are often seen on our charts. You have a square and they'll say, oh, Neptune's squaring Uranus, it's going to be a hard time. It's because a square is action, conflict, and hot-headedness. That sense of driving. Do you know, Penelope, there's a lot more centaur symbols, but I didn't put them all in. I might add some others, or it might be that they come out in another deck. But what I did was, I'll just put it down again now for anyone who wants it. This is where you can find, you just type in your birthday on AstroSeek, and it's the asteroids page, and it will give you 12 of the 13 asteroids that I'm using in this deck, so that you can find out where they're placed on your birth chart. And then the one that's missing is Quaoar, and Quaoar is on a really annoying website. So many pop-ups, it drives you nuts. Then we have Juno. Juno is Queen of Heaven. She is relationships, and she is merging. We have Eros, sexual desires, and your kinks. What are your special sexual moments that come over you when you're hit by the fixed arrow that brings a mutable energy to you? Oh, that's good. Happily conjunct your Chiron. That's fabulous. So we have mutable modalities. This is where Mercury comes again. And this is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. This is Quicksilver. What else do we have? We have Pallas. Pallas is negotiations, arts, and wisdom. We obviously have Saturn and all the others. We also have Ophiuchus. So because I wanted to bring in 13s, so that it was 6 13s are 78, like a tarot deck, and then 7 13s are 91, which is what this deck will be eventually when I've added 13 more. Ophiuchus is often seen in the ancient things as a snake bearer. Sometimes it's confused with, in some drawings, of Virgo holding both the scales and the snake, so enabling Virgo to be a much more profound and powerful goddess frequency. But it's the bolt from the blue. It's like it's there, but it doesn't always come into our lives. It's not always important to our frequency to experience it, but I thought it was really important to bring this energy in. We have Ceres. Oh, this one's lovely. Arsenic. Arsenic is the swan transformation. Now, you think of arsenic as being something poisonous, but this is turning something metalloid into crystal. The metalloid version of... I might need to try and put this lamp... hang on. It's getting a bit dark somehow. Oh, it's blinding me now. But it will help chart the cards at least. So arsenic is seen as a poison, and when it's a metalloid, it's quite disgusting. That's no good. I'm too dark. I have to bring it back up there. Thank you, Penelope. So arsenic's in a metalloid is grey and ugly, like a little signet. And then when you turn it into a crystal through an alchemical process, it transforms into a beautiful swan. But it's also one of those things that a little dose of it is not poison. It's how much of something is what poisons you. Oh, that would be lovely if you put all the asteroids in. There's another one coming now. Haumea. Now, Haumea, I think Haumea might also currently be in Libra. This is instinct and trust, and it's birthing creativity. The problem with a lot of astrologers is they only see Haumea as a kind of empress goddess who's all about birthing children. And it's wrong to, you know, have an asteroid that can be in a chart of someone that's never going to have children. So to me, it's the importance of birthing creativity. And that's a really beautiful symbol. There's something about this notion of almost pie and then taking a seed and bringing it into the world, something connected to a muse consciousness and bringing it into reality. But as I say, this has still got lots more to have written upon it. Oh, this one's gorgeous. Aquavita. This is an ethanol-based alcohol. And very early on, it was thought that it would be a remedy for so many beautiful things. Wassail, Laurie. And alcohol became a poison for a lot of people. So this card represents moderation, a dangerous remedy, and caution. Gorgeous symbol, though. Then we have this beautiful one, Spirit. And this is self-actualization. This is the liberation of the soul from material obsessions. And there's something about it that's a little bit like a key turning in a lock. But it's a key that's almost in disguise so that you can't see it so easily. What else do we have? I feel like there's a couple more asteroids that haven't been out. Vesta. So Vesta is eternal half-light. It's eternal and half-light. It's the eternal flame, but I didn't want to put eternal flame so easily. So it's linked to, Vesta's linked to magnesium. And magnesium, when you light magnesium, is really hard to put out. And so Vesta is almost the energy of being inextinguishable. So being on fire with something. It's a beautiful energy. Who else do we have? Oh, here she is. It's Aries, people. So Aries is sacred rage and challenges. Now, remember, Aries is the sister of Mars. And that's why her symbol looks like Mars, but is drawn differently. So it's got that energy of Venus. And she wasn't invited to a really important wedding. And all the other gods and goddesses are invited. And so being really clever and having a sacred rage, and a sacred rage is a little bit more special than Mars's fiery energy. She goes to the party and she throws a golden apple down on the table and she says, "This is a gift for the most beautiful woman at the wedding." And then they all have a big fallout. So this is why it's challenges. And actually all of us have her in Aries, because she's been in Aries since about 1926 until 2040 something. So we all have her there, and she's just looking out for us all. We did see this one earlier, the galactic opportunity, which is the solar eclipse, but I've apparently saved this one till last, not deliberately, just accidentally. We also have Hygeia. So Hygeia is the goddess of preventative medicine, and in this deck she will be representing the biome. So that additional part of our body, which we don't connect with very often, we do mind, body, and spirit, and yet it's mind, body, spirit, and biome. It's a whole other area that works differently. Yeah, the fortunate thing is that Eris and Pluto won't conjunct for a very long time, because she's not moving yet from Aries, and it's going to take Pluto a while to get to Aries. Not forever, but a while. Yeah, Sheila, as soon as I get a few more words on it, I'll put a PDF up so that people can download it. I needed another perhaps week or two just to work with it. I also need to get Rob and Cindy and Reem just to help answer a few questions on some bits where I've got holes, and my wonderful friend Misha helps me. No, originally I was going to get Olga, but I want this deck to be out quicker. So I'm going to ask my beautiful friend Debbie Angel she's a graphic artist, because there's something, the amount of information that I want to have on the front of the cards, and then I want the back of the cards to look like the working notebook with all powders and messes and burns where the alchemists have been working and taking notes on each of the card. It needs someone who, I'm not saying Olga can't do it, but Olga is doing the runes at the moment, and I'd like to set Debbie Angel off on this deck as soon as I could, so maybe we'll have the chance of getting two out. And Debbie Angel was the graphic artist who created the format for Elle magazine. So she's an amazing artist. She's a graphic artist, but when she draws, there's something amazing about how she does it. Yeah, and the thing is, you know, it's going to take Olga a while to do 78 rune images, and then to ask her to suddenly do 91 other ones is going to be difficult. Wassail Twitty, it's all right that you're late, doesn't matter. We're going to ask about, did Penelope, did you get the dates for Venus going retrograde? It's something like, she goes retrograde just before Christmas. Look, it's the best part is that we're doing this differently. It's really important to put these energies out with you to get a sense of what we can do with them, and also how we create other decks. Because slowly, you know, I want to be able to engage more of the people that do readings on here to be part of the process. And the idea would be that with each deck that is created, the people that work on them as the official workers on it would be given a deck credit. And then, you know, so maybe this deck doesn't sell well, but the rune deck sells really well. But instead of doing it that way, you just all get an equal share, everybody. No one gets more. Everyone gets an equal share depending on the decks that they've worked on. So it's really about trying to set up a collective company in many ways, so that slowly as more decks come along, more of you will become the official, you know, people working on them. But that's why we need to all play with these notions together. It's exciting. I hope this one will, because I a lot of the time I've been searching forever, Parry, for Fib, for an astrology deck, and they're rubbish. They've got like 32 cards in, and you're like, what am I getting out of that? And putting this deck together, all day yesterday when I was putting it together, and then today drawing them all, I was just like, I wonder if it will read. I wonder if when I shuffle it, it will tell me things. Yeah, it's definitely, it is, Bridge. It's an Aquarius age concept. It's about the collective coming together to do something. Yeah, a co-op, and properly, you know. So if someone works on 3 decks, then they get 3 shares in the profit. And as more and more people come on, yeah, maybe you'll get less and less, but it's all part of everyone joining and creating some new magic, because it feels to me like, look, I'm tired of tarot and oracle decks that are all just, you know, perfect bodied porn images that just don't tell me anything. I'm not interested in all of that. So we're asking about the Venus retrograde, but we still haven't been given the information of when it is. So I have asked. No one's given it to me, so I'm just going to have to look it up myself. Yeah, I think it is about the 19th to January the 29th. Let's see what it says here. Venus will begin to slow down in the sky. Yeah. We don't want that. We just want the dates. They always do it so that you got to go into their website. What planet is in retrograde? Do you know what? Let's just take that as given, because I'm not going to sift through loads of pointless websites. They're trying to get me open up and look at pointless adverts I'm not going to buy anything for. You can't sell me shampoo. Got no hair. Well, I have. I've got a bit around the back, but I don't use shampoo. I just wet my hair every day. So, Venus retrograde. Oh, Greenleaf. It's Venus retrograde. It's something like the 19th of December. I know it's just before the conjunction time, not conjunction, just before the December solstice. No, sometimes they're retrograde longer, sometimes they're not. It depends where it happens and when it happens. And we think it's until the 29th of April. But anyway, look, come on. Let's just ask the cards. When's it retrograde? Yeah, it says you're right. So, come on. Retrograde. I'm not taking them. That's like 30 cards. Venus can't be that greedy. December the 19th to the 29th. Thank you, Peggy. It's in the chat now. Right, here we go. I'm gonna bring this down, and we're gonna drop the deck. Those two feel very cheeky. Right, Venus retrograde. There's something that's powerful frequencies. So look, we've got this dissolving of authority. I'd like that. The dissolving of authority, something very corrosive and acidic, and then causing a separation. So there's something being corroded, dissolved, that's authoritarian. So let's get the deck. I feel like I need to just cut through that and get the next two cards. So what have we got? Leo, digestion. This is like a slow burn. So this is applying corrosive heat. It's like dung. I mean, that's how they used to do digestion. As often was to put things in dung for weeks. I will say, actually, as part of her retrograde period, on the 1st of January, there is very briefly at about 11 in the evening GMT on the 1st of January, there will be a point where the moon sneaks into Capricorn and will join the Sun, Venus, Pluto, and Mercury. And Mercury is just on its way out. It's very brief, but it is a 5-planet stellium. So this is Leo. This is something slowly eating away. I kind of want to say a kind of societal ego, but it's more like a societal. Venus is dissolving. She's being the aqua regia to dissolve some kind of toxic authority, is the energy. And it will separate from this whirling solution. It's like sifting out truths. So let's get a few more cards. Yeah, dung's very sacred. You know, it's you know, there's whole sacred scatological clowns in some cultures. So we need another card with Leo. Ooh, Antimony. You see, I can't help but thinking this is Venus turning everything on its head. And this is a symbol of authority. This is a symbol of power. So there's a digestion of power taking place during Venus retrograde. And this is wolf protection. Wild, instinctual human nature is being separated out. We've just had that. It's us coming back into a kind of sort of like a savage energy, not in an aggressive way, but just in a primal way, bringing out a new primal energy. So we'll go back down because I kind of like showing you. I like doing this. And they look so pretty. I love these symbols. I'm so excited by them. So I'm going to rifle them, split the deck, and then we'll pull 2 more. I'm looking forward to doing all signs readings and things. So let's split the deck. And let's see what we have here. Pisces, projection. And I will hold them up in a minute, don't worry. Oi! Ophiuchus first turning up. Bolt from the blue. Now, that's interesting because the official time of Ophiuchus is around this period. It's only it's a 2-week period. And actually in some versions of astrology, they say the Scorpio season's only 9 days. Pisces, Neptune is in Pisces. Neptune turns direct before this thing begins. And that's when this energy of 13 frequency, this bolt from the blue, will start to emerge. In the eclipse tunnel, there is something about, they're showing me kind of like jostling with an energy of something that has to escape, an energy of truth, something that's coming out to rock authority. I mean, it could just be the tail end of things that have been going on with this COP26. So, oh, I don't want to do that. Although it was Taurus, which is the, it was like about 12 cards. That is the lunar eclipse moon position, but I don't think that's got to do this. This is about the retrograde period, but there's something about it being a deep old wound that's a bolt from the blue with Ophiuchus. Something's changing. Something is being sidelined, like another timeline pathway is being opened up. Because I still haven't yet put in the time cards, because there are time cards in alchemy. So let's go back down. Let's see what the next 2 are. I love Antimony being Venus, turning everything on its head. So, here we go. What are the last 2 cards in this series? Oh, physical truths, earth truths, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, physical truths. There's something about them being really difficult to digest coming underneath this Leo energy. It's kind of, there's a frequency of that bolt from the blue almost being whacked around the head, almost PTSD energy, almost disbelief, where your mouth drops open of what's coming in the Virgo, in the Venus retrograde. So do I take this top card or do I pull from somewhere else? I think I take the top card because that was the intention. Hey, Follis. There is a law of unintended consequences that is growing during this energy of Venus being retrograde, turning things on their head. Let me just see if I've got any other notes about Follis at the moment, because I haven't gone fully into all of them. But there was a lovely thing. He's the force behind the consequences of actions. He's the force behind the consequences of actions. There's something I need to ask about Pholus, because that seems to be the key. We'll take Antimony as Venus turning everything on its head. And we're going to ask for a little bit more of that story. This bolt from the blue, this physical truths. Let's pop those down there. I'll put Pholus and Anti-Venus, Antimony. Yeah, get that purging tower built. So let's just putting all of those ones back in all over the place. So let's come back down. Oh, look, you can't see them. I have to bring them there. So, no, I'm not having those. Oh, it's too many. Let's rifle them. I can't wait to get these made properly on proper cards. They're so floppy, but the excitement of having this deck and how it can tell us some different stories. So I'll put a third above. Then I'll split the deck down the middle. Look, we're getting that again. There's definitely something corrosive, aquaregious of authority that's a physical corrosive energy that's coming in. Right, so let's just... Oi! I was trying to drop them in thirds, but that didn't work. So, well, that's kind of gone into thirds. The point is that's the top deck. So what do we have? Now that's interesting. Jupiter G, the great cleanser, the great cleanser. This is the energy wings. This is tin. And I was talking with Misha today, and the interesting thing, tin, you would think Jupiter, big old energy, what's it doing with little old tin? But tin's one of the important metals that was applied to other metals to create bronze. So this is a big expansive energy, and Jupiter turns, something happens with Jupiter on the 29th. Oh, my brain's gone muddled. Oh, it moves into Pisces. It moves into Pisces on the 29th. It returns to its house of ownership, and that gives it the expansive push that I guess works with this antimony, this primal drive, and adds to the law of unintended consequences. We can't even imagine what this thing would be at the moment because it's unintended. We can't know. And then we have, oh, look, it's a galactic opportunity. This is energy that's, because the point of, the point of an eclipse is not something magical happens on the 4th of December and then we all go to sleep and don't worry about it till the next eclipse appears. The whole point of an eclipse is it sets up the energy for the next 6 months. And in the next 6 months, there's all kinds of amazing frequencies coming in. So let's get some more. I'll just bring you back down again. Yeah, there is medical astrology in here. And I'm also going to be adding some other symbols like compose, boil, filter. But I just needed to get the deck underway like this because I wanted to know whether the moon in cards that Spirit told me to add were going to work or whether they were going to become cards that came out too often, but they haven't come out too often. I keep seeing that one on the bottom, and yeah, I keep thinking I'm doing that and changing the energy of it. So This is good. This is good. What have we got down here, people? I'm too excited. What have we got? Hey, look, we've got the secret. We've got the arcana, this wonderful, the wizardry that we can't yet know, with water, emotional truths. And that's under this. Some kind of primal emotions being brought in with antimony. It's big secrets. It's big secrets. Big secrets. I've got to put them around the other way. What's this one? Here we go. Moon in Taurus. Sensual night. That's coming out of nowhere. This is the neck, the vocal cords, truths. This is about bringing things into balance. It's a divine 9. It's a divine 9 and it's underneath follows. There's something about a law of unintended consequences, sensual nights. There's something, there's something about the importance of darkness, because it's to do with the energy of eclipses, but there's something sensual. I need the last card. I was going to put some runes on things, but it doesn't feel like these cards even need a companion. Oh, look. It's to do with the darkness. There's a shadow, a sensual shadow that's being brought up. There's a horrific truth, but we've got the sun, the solar, and the lunar eclipse, the galactic opportunity. Now that's interesting. Hello again. It's fun working my way through these cards because I don't know how they work. Oh, bye, Bridge. This is about the following year. That's what this is about. This is post Venus being retrograde. So what happens is the first solar eclipse is the new moon in Taurus on the 30th of April. You'd need to check that. But there is, and at that point, there's something really weird goes on with Gaia Uranus in Taurus. It's all about the frequency of materializing new shit in Taurian energy. And that's followed by the lunar eclipse. So this is moving on to 6 months later. This is saying, so we need to now just say, what's that then? What's that solar eclipse or lunar eclipse? So we can put antimony and follows back. So I'm glad you like the cards, Kathy. I'm very excited about them. I'm still midway through. I'm still working on all the poetic paragraphs for the runes at the moment, but I wanted these cards to be out here so that we could use them. I know I haven't put up the PDF yet, but I will. Bye, Follis. So this, the solar eclipse tunnel, in April, May next year, moon in Sagittarius. It's a philosophical mission, because the moon in Sagittarius is being set now, because that's the new moon that triggers the solar eclipse on the 4th. So we're looking at liver, hips, thighs, sacrum. Liver, again, liver, another of the Neptune. liver, kidneys, and spleen energies. You have to set a new philosophical mission. Problem is, the Mono Hieroglyphica said that we weren't to know what's coming. You could draw them. They would be powerful. When Rob drew his cards, he was doing really scratchy pen drawings on some of them and going, oh, I've messed that one up, but never mind. And then when they spoke to him, it was like they went, hello, because he'd put muscle memory and energy into the cards. And that's why they give me messages, because I've handmade them. I'm not saying don't ever buy cards, but there's something about you marking things yourself that creates an energy. So, oops, I nearly pressed a button and it ended you all. So, we've got the solar and lunar eclipse here. We've got this energy of the new moon in Sagittarius, this philosophical mission. Let's see what we get here. I listened to some interesting program on the solar eclipse the other day. It's a British BBC program on the radio called In Our Time with Melvin Bragg. And it was about solar eclipses. And it was interesting because the 1705 solar eclipse, or 1715, was the first one that Halley, of Halley's Comet, knew was coming, and he got everyone to write down the times that the shadows appeared so that he could mark it. And it was kind of the first one that was about trying to show the science and demystifying the other versions, people's fears of eclipses. So what do we have? Water. This is when we have to create a philosophical mission. So kind of, I guess, looking into what you believe the world will be moving forwards, and you have to work out how that will take in emotional truths that you don't want to look at that are going to be coming in the next 6 months. 6 and 7, that's a 13 frequency, that emotion. So let's drop. I'm actually going to put 2 in the middle first. Gemini, separate. Gemini is the tunnel. You've got to fix something in the tunnel. What's that one say? Moon in Scorpio. You see that we've had that earlier, but that is that energy. The lunar eclipse is a moon. The old one is a moon in Scorpio, but this is the new one. Oh, the new, yes, Scorpio and Taurus. Scorpio and Taurus. So I'm just going to put one down here. Again, physical truths. There's so many emotional and physical truths coming in. And there it is, PTSD. Nervous system, primal wounds. Oh, that one pinged at me. Yeah. So Chiron, the nervous system. To me, it says that in the next 6 months, we have to kind of create a philosophical mission. We have to look at things philosophically so that when these difficult frequencies come in, we're prepared. We're prepared, or it will wound us. Because I don't think Chiron means to wound. Chiron means to heal. But we need to prepare ourselves by thinking philosophically about what changes could you deal with, what kind of truths could, in this law of unintended consequences that could come up, what truths can you handle, and what would just freak the hell out of you? So I'm going to just ask before we end, because I feel like 2 hours is long enough. But I'm so grateful for you all watching. Thank you. So I just want to know, what comes after the darkness in 2022? What's the good things? What's the good things? Oh, look, you see? 1777 as numbers. Look, 1777. Ceres and the Philosopher's Stone. So here we have the seat of the soul will be replenished. All the materials, all the energies of the world, all elements to be alchemized. Everything will change in the coming year. 77740. Oh, that's beautiful. 17. So 3 sevens are 21 plus 1, 22. 2022. Yeah, it's a perfect number. I have tried to think about the numbers in some places, but obviously when you're doing the sort of like the phases of the moon being in different houses, you can't put them out of order. But there are some beautiful natural numberings that took place. That I just think that this is a really beautiful energy. Ceres, remember, is based on a scythe. It's a symbol of what you cut away. That going back to that original limpet, we cut away our own traumas that are linked to the ancestors, and that frees us up to connect with the prima materia, all the materials that exist within the world, that can come into being, that can change, all elements to be alchemized. So just one final, because I can't leave it on that. I'm terrible. So, rifle. So, what's the last message? Let's do drop. Here we go, people. I might have 3 for this. Leo again, digestion. Interesting. I'm getting that as actual, when the seat of the soul gets fixed, when worries get fixed, digestion becomes easier. Just won't go away. Lunar eclipse. You see, the lunar eclipse is what ends that season. And Jupiter again. The huge energy wings are cleansing. It's like a biome body cleansing. The gift of the esoteric is to bring about a change so huge as we move through to April, May, that we can't really, I'm going to sneeze in a minute, that we can't begin to understand. We can't even, we can't even begin to digest it. But there was something else before the sneeze that they were trying to tell me. We need to apply that philosophical mission is like a slow cooking in the dung for 6 months. And then when we reach the end of the solar eclipse that takes place on the 12th or 13th or the 14th, I think it's the 14th of May, there will be a cleanse. Oh, Wassail Corey. So I want one last card. One last card to end the storybook, and I'm going to put that card right on the top of all of them. So okay, here we go. Drop, drop, drop. And we have, oh, beautiful. A trine, which is harmony, at ease, and natural. It's like all of the franticness. Yeah, all of the eclipses will be in Scorpio and Taurus next year because the nodes move into Taurus and Scorpio. So absolute bliss and harmony coming in at the end. That's lovely. So that's the new deck that we're going to be working on. And I will try and add the other 13 cards so that it's a deck of 91. Yeah, that was a really wonderful, because do you know what? I was like, I want one more card. I didn't even know whether there was a card that would be in there that could end the reading. It is also the symbol. No, it's not the symbol for air. Air has the line. That's the symbol for, I'll show you them because they're here. And I was reading a very complicated thing about why they have the lines, but I haven't been able to absorb all of the information yet. I love this one as well. Salt, materialization, fixed modalities, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So it's even telling us there, that card, that these Taurian congelation and Scorpio separation frequencies are going to help to materialize great things because of the actual houses that the eclipses take place. At the moment, the energy is mutating, but it should really be a full moon in Gemini, but it's just nipped in early with Taurus. So it's triggering and setting up the energy that follows 6 months later. So, why is this taking so long? So there's air. Oh, and there's earth with a line. And then there's water. And there's a red one somewhere with fire. Fire. I need to burn. Fire. I've lost fire. Maybe it's pinned on the floor. I just want to get the four of them together with their mate, the trine. You could almost say that this is kind of like got a frequency of the fifth element, which is quite a fun film. Multipass. Oh, come on, fire. Where are you? Don't tell me I've lost a card already. Salt was 51, and which is interesting because it's a reverse of 15, which is the devil. I still love that one. Magnet. Come on, fire. Where are you hiding? There it is. So look. With trine. Can't quite get that hand across there. There we go. Oh. There's your 5 triangles. So thanks ever so much for joining me with the new deck. Oh, look, what's on the bottom? It's just too magical. All elements to be alchemized. That reminds me of all irregularities will be handled by the forces controlling each dimension. Heavy atomic elements may not be used where there is life. Medium atomic weights are available, which was a very creepy program in my youth that was called Sapphire and Steel. And Sapphire and Steel were 2 kind of beings from out of time. He was Steel and she was Sapphire. And she could touch objects and she could go, oh, 18th century. It was played by Joanna Lumley, you know, who's Patsy Stone. And they used to come through, and the enemy was always time. Time was breaking through to destroy things. And so they were always trying to stabilize time. And in one of the stories, it was about time had got into photographs and time could harm you in a photograph. When I was about 14 or 15, I was like, never having my picture taken again. And because they were really dark, creepy stories. So if you fancy watching that, I'm sure it's on YouTube. Sapphire and Steel has a great theme tune. There's light everywhere because I don't know why it gets so far forwards on me. The lights are back. I think maybe I've got a dirty camera or something. It's a bit better now. Oh, there's still one there. Wassail Scrappy Doo. Yeah, it's Joanna Lumley from Ab Fab, and she is Sapphire. And she does this thing where her eyes light up like blue sapphires when she's about to do weird magic and shit. Whereas he's like Steel, he's very cold. She's very sensual. They probably are flashing phone messages. I feel like just before we go, I just want to go like that and pull out a card and just see what it is. Hey, it's my birth sign. Sublime, sublimation. So that's the deck. I'm really going to go now. I have a sip of water. Hey, look. Water helps your biome. It's preventative medicine. Oh, wow. Your daughter's called Sapphire. You really need to watch Sapphire and Steel. Maybe you did as a kid. You have a question. What tone note would we use for an inner thigh problem right above the knee? No. For knees, you need to sing a melody that goes F, A flat, F, B flat, D flat, and C. I'm not sure if that's the right note. Let me get my piano up and I'll do it for you now before I go. It's a really interesting thing, the knee melody. I don't know why knees are F in sound healing. You can dance, you can jive. It's like the beginning of Dancing Queen. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was a kind of in tune. So here is the melody for the knees and thighs. There's a so the F That's the knee. And then is the nervous system that needs to wire into everything. The spine and the nervous system, and then the bones through the thigh. Yeah, no, I know. I'm just, it has to, but it has to go, the energy has to flow all the way through your leg. You can't heal just the thigh. You have to work on the entire knee. The B flat's the sole of the foot. So knee, sole of the foot, spine, thigh. But they have to be joined up in that order for some reason. So, oh my God, the lights are going nuts. So, let me bring the mic a bit nearer. So hopefully that might help. Yeah, didn't have a Palo Santo here today. So, just one more card, because they're a new deck. And then I'm going. So, oh, it's two. Oh, look. I'm going to put them that way around so you can read it properly. It's sextile and north node. The north nodes are shifting into Taurus, and it's saying, get friendly with your life's destiny path. Because it's going to be there for it's going to be there for the 18 months. So get friendly with your nodal position, because the nodes are shifting into Taurus and they're going to bring new materialization. So look for where your nodes are and get friendly with your nodal energies. My north node's actually in my sun sign. My south node's in Aries. But south node's an interesting energy because this one is the life's destined path, the energy you're always trying to head to. The south node is the energy of your incarnated lives before this that you stepped out from. So, thank you, Nina. Ooh, action, conflict, hot-headedness. So you've got to square your destiny. That's what they're saying. You have to square your destiny. There's so much change coming up in the next 6 months. You've got to square your destiny. You've got to let go of that Mars anger and get into the divine rage that we had in the Aries card. So I'm not going to pull any more. I'm going to go downstairs and try and write 13 new ones to add in to see what the messages bring. So thank you all very much. Thank you all for the donations you send me. I will catch up with the emails. I will catch up with the comments. But I had to just go into a zone to create this deck. And I feel like it's going to be a good deck. I'm glad that your blood's flowing. It's always best when blood flows. Inside, you don't need it coming out. It's a pleasure, people. I really love being here with you all. And I'm so excited by this deck. Oh, look, I just pulled me again. I pulled myself. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to end the stream. I just started listening to, you know, what you all have to say. But have a beautiful evening, everyone. I'm probably back tomorrow. Because I've got nothing else to do all day, because I've done the cards now. I just need to get the other 13 in. So maybe we'll have a little update. Anyway, Wassail.